I lead a Bible study group, and we were discussing sorcery and the sorcerer in Acts 8, Simon the sorcerer. The question was asked, who would be a modern wizard? I said Harry Potter. My friend said she thinks this is pushing it just too far, and it's just that kids are watching, like kids watching cartoons like Superman. Your thoughts around kids, adults watching and reading fantasy? So, first off, if we're going to be applicable, Harry Potter would not be like Simon, because Harry Potter is a fictional character. Simon was a real character, a real person. So you'd have to find somebody in society today who's practicing divination, palm reading, other forms of sorcery. That would be analogous to Simon. Harry Potter is a fictional character. Now, when it comes to fiction, the Bible uses fiction. I think Jesus' description of Lazarus and the rich man is a fictional story. I don't think it's a real story. Anybody think it's a real story? It's a fictional story. In the prophet Micaiah, when Ahab wanted Jehoshaphat to join him in going to war against Ramoth-Gilead, he called for one of the prophets of the Lord, and Micaiah came, and he told him a fictional story about the angels in heaven having a meeting with the Lord and saying, the Lord said, how can we deceive Ahab into going to his death against Ramoth-Gilead? And one said this, another said that, and said, I'll be a lying spirit in the mouth of his prophets. And the Lord said, go and do it. This is a fictional story to make a point. God doesn't send his angels to be lying spirits. He's trying to inform Ahab that what he heard through those prophets was a lie. So fiction, we might want to call it analogies, allegories, illustrations, can be used. The question here, let's talk about Harry Potter for a moment. All great story, all great fiction, all of it is a retelling of the great controversy between good and evil. You can't find a great story that isn't the retelling. The Narnia stuff, fiction with magic. Most Christians, now Adventists may or may not like it, but most Christians like that series because it elevates, Aslan, the lion, Jesus, over the white witch. Okay? But in the Harry Potter story, my recommendation is that if you let your kids read this stuff, you need to be age appropriate. They need to have a firm foundation in Scripture, so that if they read this, they can discern the metaphorical applications to the larger great controversy realities, and or if they read it after every section of the book, you sit down as a family and have a discussion about the lessons to be learned, the truths, the errors that are woven in, so they develop discerning skills about how the world's going to try to deceive them. So it can be a useful tool. I will tell you the Harry Potter story, though, it's a great metaphor of the great controversy. Do you understand Harry Potter? If you actually have read the books or seen the movies, Harry Potter as a baby was attacked by evil and was marked and carried a piece of the evil Voldemort within him through his life. Jesus became a baby and became sin, though he knew no sin. He carried a piece, if you will, of what Adam did with him. Throughout the entire series, Harry Potter is consistently reliable, loyal, self-sacrificing, seeking to help his friends and never betrays them. Puts himself in harm's way, willing to sacrifice. And in the very end, I won't go through all the details because there's so many of the biblical narrative stuff that comes around and round. But in the very end, how does it end? By Harry Potter dying and rising again to defeat the evil. Okay? This is a classic metaphor of the great controversy story where Christ takes on himself the condition, sacrifices and is faithful and loyal, eventually dies and rises again to destroy the evil. Okay? And all the great stories have this same theme within them, and you will see it. But it also mixes in a lot of fantasy, a lot of magical thinking, and can be confusing if you don't have opportunity to discuss it with your children to help them differentiate those elements.